Hey guys, welcome back to the Cool Classic Kate Show, and today we have to talk about this insane rumor um, of the potential reality that Sony could be buying the parent company of FromSoftware, Katakawa. And obviously, all gamers know that FromSoftware happens to be one of the most prominent, most important, most discussed game developers in gaming for the past decade at this point. Um, Ever since Bloodborne, they've achieved such high acclaim and respect and just obsession, really, from the gaming community. They have birthed an entire subgenre of action role playing that at times, I could appreciate for sure, but at times I find annoying as a hack and slash fan. But I take myself out of the discussion and just have a truly objective conversation on this situation because Sony is in talks to buy FromSoftware's parent company, report claims. In an exclusive report published today by Reuters, it was claimed that Sony is in talks to purchase Katakawa, the corporation that owns the majority of FromSoftware, the developer of Elden Ring. It was claimed in the report that Sony wanted to acquire the media powerhouse and that a deal could be signed in the coming weeks. So this doesn't mean that if Sony were to buy Katakawa, it doesn't mean that they would own the entirety of FromSoft, but a good amount, which means that they have a lot of influence. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Sony already does own a portion of Katakawa. You see, Katakawa shares closed 23% daily limit. Sony owns shares in Katakawa FromSoftware. Sony's focusing on entertainment, such as games, movies, and anime, and Katakawa is involved in all of that. But to continue, despite the claims being corroborated by two trusted sources close to Reuters and the deal, both Sony and Katakawa have declined to comment. So they do not want to talk about this until it goes down. Actually, probably this situation kind of getting out there, or leaking, if it is indeed a thing, is probably going to make them close this deal even faster than they had already planned, if it's really truly happening, mind you. Sony's reportedly looking to acquire FromSoftware's parent corporation, Katakawa. The claim comes hot off the press from Reuters in an exclusive report, and it comes just a few months after FromSoftware released Shadow of the Erdtree, an expansion so good it's being considered for Game of the Year at the upcoming Game Awards showcase. Yeah, we talked about that in my last video, so if you haven't, go check that out after this video. Presently, Katakawa owns a 70% stake in FromSoftware, and Sony has around a 14% share. Rolling it up, Sony already has a 2% stake in Katakawa Corporation, but other gaming titans like Tencent also own a piece of the company. Katakawa's history stretches back to 1945, when the company was founded as a publisher of books and magazines before expanding to cover video games in the 1990s. FromSoftware has been in operation since 86, when they were founded to create business software like Katakawa. FromSoftware turned to video games in the 90s. All right, but so I did some snooping around, just out of curiosity on the website, because I'm not really that familiar with Katakawa. So I went on their website, was looking through some things, and I found this chart that really breaks down what primarily their company focuses on. And really, 10% of their company is dedicated to gaming, which, I mean, is a decent amount, mind you, but that is only a small percentage, really, in the grand scheme of things. What I found really interesting was seeing animation and film is having an 18% share of their, well, concentration of their company, pretty much. And the question really is Sony doing this specifically for FromSoftware? Because obviously we're looking at these percentages, going to the parent company to get to FromSoftware is, you'd be buying up a whole lot of other things that aren't in relation to FromSoftware. So honestly, in my personal opinion, I don't necessarily think it's about FromSoftware. I think that if they could pull this off, FromSoftware having a good stake in FromSoftware would be a huge W for Sony. But I really think that they just want to continue their insane, all right, monopoly. And I do not mean this lightly. Sony has an insane monopoly on anime, on Japanese animation. their influence, their control is so disgusting. And it's really sad. Sony has so much control over anime, really. I- Anime can be live or die on whether they go through a company involved with Sony or not. That's kind of sad to say. And watching them potentially buy up yet another company that focuses a lot around a lot of their assets towards anime, it is disappointing. It is disappointing. And a lot of people will a lot of people don't realize this, man. You know, if you're a fan of anime, you should already know to have been concerned for many years now. Sony has always been a very high censorship, um, influence on animation art style, just generally speaking. They are absolutely god fucking awful when it comes to their desire to just completely go out of their way to censor animation. It is super disappointing. It's been reflected in games, it's been reflected in anime. They continue to do that. And this company having so much influence, and I'm not, a lot of people think that I'm a Sony hater, and really, most of that shit honestly is just because it makes motherfuckers mad. But really, when it comes to this in particular, you have to judge fairly. I'm not here to just hate Sony just to hate Sony. Any company having this much control over art, over an entire type of artistry, being Japanese animation, is concerning. Sony has entire control and influence over what anime you can and cannot see. One singular company has almost full control over this. This is something that we should all be concerned about if you appreciate the art form. Now, I'm not really a modern anime watcher. I'm more of an old school anime watcher. And even then, I'm still highly concerned. And I think that Sony will use this leverage to an even greater degree to control what the West gets to see and what they do not get to see. And if you, with what I hope is common sense, cannot see the high concern in all of this, I don't know what there is to say. I don't think any one company should have this level of control over an entire body of work, essentially, from Japan when it comes to animation, which is their bread and butter, really. Their what makes us love Japan so deeply. But to continue on, also, it is also worth discussing that there's huge ratio of involvement in ebooks and magazine business, which obviously is more influence, and I'm sure manga, stuff like that. I'm sure that with being so far into anime, I'm sure they would love to be also involved in manga and all that censorship and influence as well. This is not good. I'm sad to say. I'm sad to say because there just seems to be like they have just too much control over entertainment that is highly beloved and so ingrained in now Western culture. And really, who knows why Sony wants to do this? Why they want to intrude? Is it because they, Japan now wants to gatekeep so much of their entertainment? Perhaps so. That's been a trend really after a lot of the West now influences the censorship and change of other cultures in order to suit wokeness and weird shit like that, and really defacing Japan's art, which I personally take great issue with. And so, yeah, any one company just saying what we can and cannot watch is highly concerning to me. But overall, I do not think this potential deal between Sony and Kadokawa is necessarily even directly involving like them wanting to obtain FromSoftware. It's more so, I believe, on the anime front, because they've continued to just swallow everything up like they're Pac-Man. But yeah, I'm interested to hear what you guys think about this whole situation. Yeah, I'm highly concerned, and I think that you all should be concerned, just because, man, just because if you love entertainment, and really, even if you love FromSoftware, for example, why would you want them to change? If you think that FromSoftware is doing great or has been doing great forever, why would you want them to change? why would you want them to potentially be under the banner of just one console manufacturer, which could potentially lead to really all future games of one of the most influential video game developers being under one platform? That would suck if that were to happen, but I don't even think Sony is too stupid to do that. I mean, have you guys seen how rabid and in fucking sane FromSoft fanboys are? Don't fuck with them because who knows what they are capable of at the end of the day, right? Or at least that's the general impression that they give off to me. So, yeah, to take FromSoft games away from PC and Xbox, I think would be absolutely disgraceful. And I don't think even Sony would go that far. But you never know, right? Business is dirty, and it's always fought dirty, and Sony is one of the dirtiest, mind you. So it is what it is. But yeah. While I allude to potentially FromSoft being in danger, which I don't think is necessarily the main case, what is in danger is really just Japan's style, Japan's art, the way Japan chooses to depict what their culture is to everyone else. I'm one that always wants the most accurate representation of their art as possible, within reason, of course. Not everything perfectly translates over, so I'm definitely willing to make some concessions, but the most close to what their idea translated to us is what I want, and I think what a lot of us want. I do not want I do not want the influence of censorship in any way, shape, or form, man. And it's sad because Sony is so fucking heavy-handed in this shit. And really, it's more than anything else with anime specifically. So that's something that I cannot stress enough that is concerning, man. Yeah, guys, let me know what you think about this in the comment section down below. If you can, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Follow me on Twitter if you want to continue the conversation. Consider becoming a channel member. Gets you instant access to the Discord. Really awesome emotes for Thursday night. Twilight Zone of Gaming live stream where we talk about all the insanity in the gaming space. Fanboys, crazy ass news, funny memes, and really just a great talk with you guys. So definitely tune in for that. And yeah, guys, with all being said, I'm out. Peace.